Welcome back to the Neil Oliver Show. My next guest this evening is comedian Lewis Schaffer, who by any standards has a fairly radical approach to diet. Lewis joins me now. Lewis, it's great to see you. Tell me first of all why you embarked on a change to your diet.
Yeah.
Specifically, you had health issues, did you not?
No. I didn't realize I had health issues until I lost a lot of weight. And then I said, and then I started to, as I'm losing the weight, I was feeling so much better. But then I started to maintain the weight and it all crumbled again.
What were the let's say the complaints, the health complaints that you had that you subsequently have found yourself to be without? Well,
let's start from the top of my head. I had full body psoriasis. I had a sleep apnea, which is one of those CPAP machines that cost like thousands on the NHS, just like, I mean, free, but whatever. It's, you know, with the I had to go to sleep and what, very sexy. I had frozen shoulder, trigger finger. I had gout. I had plantar fasciitis. I had edema, which is swollen hands and swollen feet. I had erectile dysfunction.
You're a fine figure of a man, weren't you?
I was horrible.
But so what did you embark upon? Now, I'll say up front, I've been following you on social media because of the photographs that you post of your daily platefuls.
Yeah. I do that to be
fascinate me.
Yeah.
So what diet have you embarked upon? And by diet, I really mean a way of life.
Yeah, that's true, because people think a diet is just about losing weight. It's not about losing weight anymore, because I lost weight the old-fashioned way, which is basically torturing yourself.
So what do you eat?
I eat steak and eggs, basically. I've now for 18 months, I've been raw steak, raw beef, and I try for raw eggs. I try to eat 3 to 5 raw eggs a day, just the yolks.
Yeah. Now, why?
That's what I eat. That's basically what I eat.
So that would be a fairly unglamorous cut of beef.
That's the cooked food that that the woman who I live with. This is me eating the runny eggs. This is not an indication, but that's what I eat. I eat raw eggs. That's scrambled eggs with butter. That's where my girlfriend cooked me some food, and I had to eat it because she says she's my girlfriend.
And why raw? Why have you? Not only are you limiting yourself to just a handful of things, you don't cook them either.
No, but because this is what I've been doing this for 5 years, and after a while, I know enough stuff. But I know. But
explain it to me. Why have you got? Why
raw?
Because the human species has been cooking meat for
hundreds of thousands of years.
At least. So
at least.
Why would you say that there's a benefit to raw?
There's a benefit to raw because it's more hydrating, because it doesn't kill any of the nutrients. This is everything that I've learned off of the internet. And it doesn't kill the nutrients that are in there, cooked food. It's not as chewy. It's just delicious. It's raw is better after a while.
How do you, listening to Lewis describe this, I mean, it absolutely fascinates me that the man was a catalogue of medical ailments, switches to raw beef, raw eggs, and a few other things besides butter and whatnot, and he's now as fit as a flea.
Yeah, field muscle.
Very
We're not advocating it as a lifestyle choice. We're not, do not take dietary advice from this show. No. But what do you make of?
Well, it is so interesting. I mean, it makes me think of Jordan Peterson, of course, who's doing something similar, and his daughter as well, Laura. I'm trying to think of somebody else who does pretty much exactly the same. So, but it's meat and potatoes or meat and broccoli. There are, people have different ones, and it's steak, not just meat. In fact, it's steak. So I do know people. I also have friends who are raw vegans. I've got 2 friends that I can think of who became raw vegan again because of all sorts of physical problems that they had, and they swear blind that raw veganism has made them healthier.
Has made them blind.
Yeah.
That's where they swear it blind. You got to give Jordan Peterson a shout out. I've been doing this 6 years. I've been doing this diet of only meat, mostly. I cheat. Everybody cheats, but I have 95% of my diet is not plants. It's meat. But I was heading in that direction. You had Ivor Cummings on the show, and he was a big influence on my life. And then you saw I'm not the only one. That's why in about a year, this will not be weird at all.
No, absolutely.
In the interest of what we like to call balance, I can tell you that I've got here the NHS diet guidelines, okay, the National Health Service, which fascinate me as well. I'm fascinated by so much. 5 portions of fruit and veg a day seems reasonable. Base your meals on starchy foods like potatoes, bread, rice, or pasta. That's anathema to you. Have some dairy alternatives, such as soy. Now, that does not sound... Well, it's interesting. Eat some beans, pulses, fish, eggs, meat and other protein. Choose unsaturated oils. Now, that's the very vegetable oils that I think are the devil's own sweat.
Yeah.
And eat them in small amounts. Drink plenty of fluid, 6 to 8 glasses a day. That sounds fair enough.
I don't think you should. The water is one of the worst things. You don't need water when you're on a raw diet.
You get enough in
in the meat. Animals aren't drinking water all the time.
You should. Well, I don't. Are there any downsides? I mean, apart from it must be boring.
It is really boring. And here's the downside. The downside is people think you're going to die, and people are wishing me dead. And I made a mistake. I put the thing up. I put the pictures up, and people want me. They want me dead because they don't want it to be right, because they can't believe, because it involves. They think I'm killing more animals than their vegan diet, which is not true. So they want me dead. So if I die tomorrow, everybody's going to say, "You see, I told you." If I get hit by a bus, they'd blame my meat diet.
Yeah.
You're right that if people are sceptical, people are entitled to be sceptical about what you're saying, although the physical manifestation seems to speak for itself, given what you were describing before. But as you say, Jordan Peterson and Michaela Peterson, his daughter, for years now I've been reading about how they have it. If they don't still, they certainly did for a long time, subsist purely on beef and water, bit of salt.
Yeah.
And Michaela, in particular, had juvenile arthritis. She was serious suffering in all manner of ways. And since switching on to this extremely radical meat-only diet, she is extremely fit, as the photographs that she posts of herself will plainly testify. I mean, at the very least, it's fascinating.
It is.
Yeah. The key thing is that she started this horrible diet. She's like 30 years old. So she started it when she was... 30 years ago, when it was I'm old enough to remember butter, so my body isn't as bad as that. So, she's obviously my bad health came 30 years out, to now.
Lewis Schaffer, obviously, this is just out of interest. We're not suggesting that anyone, makes decisions based on what they're saying here. But I think all it illustrates is that what we don't understand about food and the way in which our individual bodies process food is a lot. And there's a great deal more to understand.
And we are different. I mean, it's interesting about Michaela because the people on the whole that I know who are eating meat only are mostly men. And the people I know who are more vegetarian and certainly vegan, raw vegan, that's mostly women. I mean, there does seem to be a bit of a spread there.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have to break now. But